Alrighty, folks, welcome to the Whitfield Report Thursday edition. I am your host, Sam Whitfield, recording here at NGC Studios in South Florida behind the Scarlet Red microphone. And I want to thank you so very much for joining me in the past, present, future hour, wherever you're watching and or listening to this. Contact info as usual. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at @70_NDC. Hashtag Whitfield Report. Follow me on Gab, Parler, and Minds at Sam Whitfield. Facebook.com/The Whitfield Report. TheSamWhitfield.com. If you'd like to go to my website. Subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever else you get your podcasts. Also now included on Audible as well. Streamlabs.com/Whitfield Report if you'd like to donate live to the show on Saturdays. Although you can leave me donations there anytime and I'll read them at the beginning of the next show. Also, patreon.com/The Whitfield Report if you'd like to contribute monthly. All links will be down in the description below on YouTube and also in the show notes of the podcast as well. Alright, folks, so today is Thursday, and usually on Thursdays, ladies and gentlemen, we here at NGC Studios like to do Pop Culture Thursdays, usually. It's the one day a week, where I usually take a break from politics to review like a movie or a novel or maybe a video game or something non-political and more pop culture entertainment related. And that's what we try to do here on Thursdays with the Thursday show. But folks, I've got to be honest, as of late it's been really difficult to do Pop Culture Thursdays, and the reason being is simply because cancel culture has run amok, and it's getting to the point where, look, I've talked about cancel culture before on the Saturday stream and on some of the other streams I've done before and podcasts, so it's nothing new, but cancel culture is literally getting worse. It's progressing or rather spreading like a cancer all across popular culture and entertainment, to the point where we won't have a pop culture soon if this continues, and it's getting even more ridiculous. So, first things first for this show, we've been talking about Gina Carano and her being canceled by Disney, her being fired from The Mandalorian. We've already talked about how that's pretty much, wrong, and how, Disney fucked up with that. There's no denying that, and they're losing fans. They're losing supporters because of that. I canceled my Disney Plus subscription because of that, and unless they actually start putting out good content for the remainder of the year and start actually appreciating the fans, I'm pretty much going to stay unsubscribed. My subscription lasts until late November, so they still almost have the entire year. And I've been watching WandaVision a little bit, and in terms of Marvel things, they don't seem to be virtue signaling quite as hard over at Marvel, but that's changing kind of quickly. But anyway, yeah, Gina Carano is she's been a topic on the show for the last couple weeks now. And people have been asking, is anyone going to stand up for her? Is anyone going to speak out for her? And Bill Burr actually spoke up and spoke out on Gina's behalf. And this clip has been played around on various shows. This week, various podcasts. Some people think that Bill Burr did the right thing. Some people didn't think he did enough. I will play the clip for you, and then I'll make my analysis. Tell you, I think I have seen this, but I want to play it for you guys here. And for those of you watching on video, you guys will see that this is from the Bill Burr podcast. Not the Monday morning podcast, but he does a podcast with fellow comedian Bert Kreischer called the Bill Burt podcast. And they had on fellow comedian Joey DeRosa this week, and they were talking about cancel culture in general. So I know this clip has been seen by a couple people, but here it is here on the Whitfield report. And for those of you listening on audio, you guys will hear it as well, obviously. So anyway, clip number 1. Let's roll the tape.
Thing that a woman did, they're gonna make a guy's fault. Every fucking thing. It's like there's just no. Is it ever? Hey, I got a little caught up in my own fame. Hey, maybe I was drinking too much. Hey, maybe I surrounded myself with the wrong people. It's just like, come on, man.
What
you
drives
want to
me?
hear what Janet Jackson lost after this?
Yeah.
All right. So
didn't she also agree to have her titty come out on the fucking Super Bowl? I mean, you got to.
That's the part I don't understand.
That's network television.
It's like
they're both guilty, but now it's becoming like.
Also, too, nobody's cursing Janet. Nobody's going, well, Janet, I guess your career just kept cruising as your brother Michael's crumbled. And it's like, so, I don't understand what the connection
that's
between.
Not a good comparison, Joe, because this is like an incident that happened, and one person, there was nothing that happened to them, and the other,
what did she lose? I don't know. I just don't get why Justin
can't take your titty out on NBC. Okay, well, people know this. But people knew that before then. I think it was one of those things. Well, let's do something shocking. It'll help both our ticket sales, and it blew up in their face. And it was almost like he was the getaway driver, and she went in to rob the bank. He fucking took off in the car.
Yeah. What did she lose?
As far as rehearsals go, that was never done, him ripping that off. So that story sticks, that she didn't know that it was going to happen unless they talked about it. But it says that the Grammys were the following week, which both Timberlake and Jackson were scheduled to present and perform.
Oh yeah, so this is the other thing that's been going on. I wasn't intending really to bring this up, but I guess Justin Timberlake got Me Too'd for something innocuous, and he's doing the whole "I'm sorry, I'm a toxic white male. We can do better." Which I have my own thoughts on that, but we'll get to that in a bit.
Format, but Jackson was outright banned from the event despite previous assurances from the Academy that both would attend, saying there's such a big difference to putting a stage on AstroTurf than an appearance at the Grammy. Timberlake, on the other hand, attended and was allowed to perform. Clear Channel Communications, which owned Infinity Broadcasting and Viacom, MTV, and CBS, blacklisted all of Jackson's singles, music videos, banning her from all of the TV channels, radio stations. The company owns, stifling airplay and making her new album, Demita Joe, her lowest selling album since 1984. The disgraced singer was forced to resign from the movie deal she had just signed, and even a statue of Mickey Mouse wearing Jackson's Rhythm Nation costume was dismantled following the continued backlash. In an attempt to break the heat of the constant bashing, Jackson went on SNL mocking the entire situation.
That sounds like the classic overreaction.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, like, I agree with the take of like maybe Timberlake should have took up for her or whatever or whatever.
He absolutely should have.
Yeah, I agree
He
with that.
absolutely should have, but I
I
don't
agree
buy
with
that
that.
it was an accident. It came
No,
off
I
in a
don't buy
perfect
that.
circle, and she does the.
No, I don't buy that
Come on.
either. I think he should have.
She would have been like that. I would think.
I think he
My
should have
Kitty
took
came
up for her.
out on television.
I don't know. What annoys me is, yeah, I agree that he should have gotten her back. But what annoys me with the Britney thing is like the same press that was following her literally from location to location as she was collapsing in public. I remember that being, there were blow by blow where Britney is right now every 15 minutes on LA radio. I remember that, like hearing that when I was in LA. And then she eventually shaves her head and she has a nervous breakdown. And it's like the fucking press that caused all that are now going to sit there and try to kick the dirt over their own shit sins and go, well, poor Britney, you know, this way. And it's like, you guys did it.
Yeah, they did that with Monica Lewinsky.
Yeah.
It's like he kept being, they go like, well, Bill Clinton kept being president and she was blah, blah, blah. It's like, no. She hosted SNL. A gig that took me 28 years of slinging jokes to get. She sucks one fucking dick and gets on the goddamn show, man. I'm supposed to sit there and look at you like you're a victim?
He sucked a dick.
When I first moved to LA, I was doing a TV show called The X Show. And I
Okay,
was living in a house up in the hills. And I come home from work one day.
Holy shit.
Crazy.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That's fucking wild.
Yeah, I would have acted like I didn't know her. I feel bad for her. I still feel bad for her, but like just sitting there acting like, she just got flushed. It's like, no, man, like
back and he gets applause breaks and everybody goes, he's kind of cute. Remember how dumb he was? Whatever. And they're going to be doing that with half of these canceled people and going, shit, man, sorry about that. Sorry about the last day. It's like a guy in jail for marijuana sales right now in LA. You know what I mean?
I just saw Pee Wee Herman on the Wheel of Fortune.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They ruined Pee Wee, dude.
And he was jerking off where you're supposed to jerk off. What was he offending those other fucking people jerking off?
Remember that?
Those local cops saw a big score. That's what they saw.
No, it was one closeted police chief. He's like, these guys are getting away watching gay porn and jerking off. We're not allowed to do this. We're busting them every Friday night.
Dude, I thought he was going to get out of it because he went on the MTV Music Awards right after it and had a great opening line. He came out, he's like, hey, and everybody was going nuts applauding him.
Yeah.
And he was like, heard any good jokes lately? And everybody died laughing. And I was psyched. I'm like, he's back. And then that was it.
Remember Dice? I didn't even like Pee Wee till I knew he jerked off.
Oh, that is pretty funny.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Oh shit,
It's
boys.
a weird time. I don't know. I kind of I have unless you did some truly horrible shit. I mean,
If you hurt someone, I don't have time for you. But if we're talking about words, like even bad words, I'm like, come on, man. I mean,
no. I wouldn't say that. No, if you're just saying overtly racist shit, yeah.
Oh, no,
if you make like a bad comparison, if you come off like Joe trying to find where Atlanta is compared to New York.
Okay, here it is. It's coming up, guys.
Homophobic. That's just ignorant.
What did Carano say?
She said that she goes in 1940s Germany. I'm paraphrasing, but she said in 1940s
Which is always
Germany,
a good thing to do on something like this, Joe. By all means, let's hear your take on the tweet.
I don't have the quote in front of me, but she said she basically compared political beliefs now being persecuted to the fact that in 1940s Germany, the way the Nazis were so able to take.
Now, for those of you guys listening on audio, you guys can't see this, but up to this point, Bill Burr, is his usual animated, kind of hyper self. But now that Joey DeRosa has brought up Gina Carano, he's gotten very quiet. He's kind of giving like that Can we not talk about this? He's doing that face right now.
Power and do whatever they wanted was because they brainwashed citizens into picking on their Jewish neighbors and eventually attacking their Jewish neighbors. And she said, how is that any different from attacking people for their political beliefs? I get what she was trying to say. Obviously, any comparison to anything with the Holocaust is it's a shoddy comparison. You're going to piss people off. It's a dumb thing to do. I'm not disagreeing with any of that. But here's what bothered me. The grounds for her being fired based on that opinion was that she was somehow reducing the plight of Jewish people during World War II. Okay, I get that. I understand that perspective. However, how is it any different from all the people on the left when Trump got nominated or elected and they said he's like Hitler? How is that any different? That's
okay. And Joey DeRosa here, the comedian on the bottom, he makes a good point, and I've said that too on the podcast before here on the Whitfield Report. I've said that myself, right? You know, Gina has gotten in trouble for making, Nazi comparisons, right? She got fired for that, supposedly, because of that meme. It wasn't even her tweet. It wasn't even her meme that she tweeted. She didn't make it. She just, found a meme and then posted it on Instagram and Twitter. And she got fired, for making that comparison. But yet, what has the left been saying for the last 5 years? 5.5 years. Trump is literally Hitler. Oh, Sam, you and other conservative talk show hosts, you guys are like Joseph Goebbels, Ministry of Propaganda, all that stuff, right? So so now the shoe is on the other foot, and they don't like it.
The same reduction of circumstance, but on one side of that coin, it's okay to say, and on the other, it won't even be entertained.
Joe
for a
DeRosa.
second.
That's interesting, Joe.
That's an interest. Joe DeRosa with an interesting take. Look at you.
Hey,
I was judging you with your bedspreads there, and all of a sudden, Joe comes in.
Bill, I've had a lot of time to think.
For what you're saying, Joey, she should have compared it to slavery, and it would have been better.
I just don't. All I'm saying is, whether you agree, disagree, whatever, I just don't get this place that we're in where there's no room for discussion about anything. And even
because there's too many channels, Joe. Too many channels,
wild,
and then you gotta do sensational shit. I don't know what the fuck it is. I mean, I'm on that fucking show. Now I gotta watch what the fuck I say.
Yeah, I know.
I'm just.
Yeah, I'm a fan of that show. Everybody.
What show is she on? What show is she on?
The Mandalorian.
The Star Wars, yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah.
But they canceled her action figure. That's how deep cancel culture is. They canceled her action figure. It's like, let the action figure come out. I don't understand.
Did she ever pony up to you, Bill? I'm like, Bill, I got a few ideas I think that you'll like.
No, she was an absolute sweetheart.
Yeah.
Super nice fucking person, and whatever. And somehow someone will take this video and they'll fucking make me say something else and try to get rid of my bald action figure.
Wait, you have an action figure?
Yeah,
No.
Do you have an action figure?
No. No, you fucking nerds.
Oh, if you get one, dude, I'm buying it. I'm buying
I might.
it.
I don't know. I have no
that
idea.
Season was awesome, man. That second season was killer. Holy shit.
They should do a fleshlight for you.
Huh? No, honestly, I can't how it is out there. It's fucking crazy time. They just there's just people just waiting, just laying in the weeds.
It really is, man.
Do you think there is a group of people, a type of person out there reading the trades and then going, Joe DeRosa signs a 6-figure deal. All right, let's deep dig him, find out what he did wrong, and that's how I spend my day.
Absolutely.
Let's show that he's human and he's made a mistake in his past, and let's take that dream away. I don't know how it works.
Absolutely.
All right, so sorry it took so long to get to that point. I thought I had it queued up, and then it took a little longer to get to that point. But so that particular exchange right there has been getting a bit of heat on social media and on within kind of my community, so to speak, the fandom menace community, so to speak. On the one hand, you have people saying that Bill Burr, he didn't really say Gina Carano's name directly in the clip. He kind of skated around it a bit. He skated around the issue a bit on his topic last week, and there are people out there who think, you know what, Bill Burr should have, he should have just come out and said, he should have defended Gina Carano directly. He should have just gone all out, balls to the wall. And then, there's the portion of the community that is like, no, Bill Burr did the right thing. He kind of kept his mouth shut. He did speak out a little bit, but he did the right thing in terms of keeping his mouth shut and, kind of keeping his head down. And I have to say, folks, that I understand both sides of this, conundrum. I get it. I understand why some people think that Bill Burr should have spoken out more. And maybe at a later date he might. I don't know. But honestly, for me personally, I think he was smart to really kind of keep his head down and stay quiet. And let me explain why. I understand that people feel like he should have stuck up for Gina more directly, that he should have said her name, that, some people feel like he should have just said, oh, fuck Disney. Like, some people feel like he should have torched Disney to the ground and called out, like cancel culture directly. I mean, but in his own way, he did. He did. He said there at the end of the clip, like, who knows? Because of this, I might be next. And, for those who are watching, you guys could clearly see as, they were talking more about the cancel culture stuff, he got more and more nervous as the thing went on. And there's a pretty good reason for that. Now, I know that there are people out there who think, oh, well, Bill Burr, he's an A-list comedian. He already has millions of dollars. So what is he afraid of getting canceled for? He's already made it. Well, folks, I wouldn't say like I'm super connected, in Hollywood or anything like that. But I do know people who work in the entertainment industry. And I've heard stories kind of how the business works. And let me say this, Bill Burr might have money, but Bill Burr is also, let me put it this way. He's more well established in the comedy world than he is kind of in the mainstream entertainment / movie / TV world of Hollywood. they're kind of in the same realm of entertainment, but they're separate too, if that makes sense. So Bill Burr has gotten into Star Wars. He's gotten into one of the biggest franchises ever. And he's gotten in with Lucasfilm. And one of the things that you may or may not know, ladies and gentlemen, is that like a lot of these studios, when you're signing contracts with them, this is what I've heard. When an actor signs a contract with them, there are certain stipulations that while they're signed to the contract, they can't, there are certain things that they can and cannot say, regarding things about said company. So, in this circumstance, Bill Burr may have his opinion that, firing Gina was wrong. And it sounds like that's kind of where he is coming from. But he has to kind of skate around it somewhat. He can't come out and directly say it. Because if he does, not only could he get fired, but the other thing too is with these contracts, if you violate certain contract rules or contract clauses, or if you speak bad about the company, not only will you lose your job and lose your deal, but usually you have to pay some sort of, internal fine or, some early release, fee or something like that. And they can be steep. And, people say, oh, yeah, Bill Burr has money and, Bill Burr's well off. But, even wealthy people, especially people like Bill Burr who, Bill Burr kind of seems like more of, he's still a celebrity, but he kind of seems like more of one of those more independent, celebrities. He kind of has his own, gigs going, he funds and produces a lot of his own stuff. So, if he says something wrong and, gets shit canned from Disney, it may cost him financially. And it may open him up to lawsuits and, contract violations and all sorts of stuff. I almost guarantee you, ladies and gentlemen, that when Gina was fired, and let go, I guarantee you that Disney most likely sent out a memo to everyone internally, including all the actors, saying, hey, you can't really speak about this. We're gagging you. If you do say anything about this, you're out too. And so I think that's kind of the fear here, and that's the apprehension you're seeing with Bill Burr. Would I have liked to have seen him speak out more? Yeah, in an ideal world, ladies and gentlemen, in an ideal world, Disney wouldn't have canceled her in the first place. In an ideal world, Disney would have never fucked up Luke Skywalker's character the way they did in The Last Jedi. In an ideal world, they wouldn't be kowtowing to the Chinese market with, filming Mulan right next to a Uyghur concentration camp, right? But we don't live in that world. So, Bill Burr in his own way has kind of spoken out, and there are those out there who are saying that, he he's already there's already blood in the water with him. In fact, some of the same like Fire Gina Carano SJW trolls on Twitter are now tweeting out stuff like cancel Bill Burr because he's a white cis male, right? Even Rosario Dawson, who is a black liberal, she's married to Keith Ellison, or is dating Keith Ellison, one of the top DNC strategists. Just some of these trans activists, the SJWs, want to cancel her because I guess her something weird like her her depiction of Ahsoka Tano is not like, it's not trans friendly or something. It's something really bizarre and weird like that. Which is that's weird in of itself because Ahsoka is clearly a female character. I mean, yeah, she's an alien. She's a Twi'lek character in the Star Wars universe, but still, very much a female character. And now you have the SJWs wanting to cancel Henry Cavill as well. Superman. Why? Because he dated Gina Carano in the past. There's been some news lately that J.J. Abrams got hired by Warner Brothers and is slated to do an upcoming Superman movie. And there are rumors that Henry Cavill may be out as Superman. I've read a bunch of stories like those. I don't know if that's the case for sure. But the mob is definitely looking to take out Henry Cavill. Why? Because he's a white cis male who really his big sin is he's not really been political. He's not woke. He's not kowtowing to Black Lives Matter or any of these other social justice quote unquote causes. He's merely a guy who goes to work, acts, put his lines on the screen, and then goes home and raps for the day. And fans love him. He's a nerd at heart, and yet they're trying to cancel him. Chris Pratt, they're trying to cancel in general because Chris Pratt is a conservative. I don't think they'll be as successful with canceling Chris Pratt because he is an A-list actor with Disney, with Guardians of the Galaxy. That might not matter. They still might try and cancel him. But I believe he's doing Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Right, that's coming up. And I think that's the end of his contract with Disney. And then I know for a fact, he's going over to Amazon to work on Jack Carr's The Terminalist, that series, which I've talked about Jack Carr, and he's a fantastic novel. We'll cover the Jack Carr series on another stream. But the overall point is it's not just Gina Carano anymore that they're canceling or trying to cancel. The reality of the fact of the matter is, folks, the reality of the situation is now these SJWs are just canceling people, not even for being conservative, but because they're not woke enough. They're not progressive enough, quote unquote. in their opinion. And so even if you're a liberal in good standing, right, you can still get canceled if you're friendly with a conservative. You can still get canceled if you don't go to bat for the cause, or if you're just apolitical, like Henry Cavill is. It's it's sad. Chrissy Hind of the Pretenders, she she's a big animal rights person, a big feminist. She used to be adored by the left. Now the left-wing Twitter mob is going after her because she, her theme song, hit song with the Pretenders, "My City Is Gone," that was Rush Limbaugh's theme song for 32 years for that radio show. And she respected Rush, although she disagreed with him. And so because she had at least mutual respect for Rush Limbaugh and kind of that agree to disagree mentality, like the liberals used to have back in the day, she must now be canceled as well, according to these people. It's insane, folks. It really is. Cancel culture is really going to destroy our culture. I really can't state that enough, and I know I'm rambling, but it's true. You know what else is just really, speaking of cancel culture, this is when I knew things were getting bad. Back in October of last year, Sean Connery passed away, and we paid tribute to him here on one of the streams. I know we did. And one of the things that was, it wasn't surprising, but it was just kind of like one of those wow moments anyway, is the Twitter mob, the cancel culture mob, right? Sean Connery hadn't even been dead and in the ground, but for a few hours, and they were writing articles and blogs about how Sean Connery was like supposedly a sexual predator, and that he had like, I don't know, like sexually molested or diddled one of the Bond girls like on set. They made this whole thing about like how when he was on when he was James Bond, that he was just like some horrible guy, that they were trying to Me Too him even though he was dead. Now the interesting thing is, I believe the Bond girl that they were alleging that he molested, I believe that she by that time was also dead. And one of her, I think it was one of her kids spoke out and said, no, nothing happened between, my mom and Sean. In fact, like, my mom was honored to be a Bond girl, and, she enjoyed it, and she thought that Sean Connery was, attractive, and she had the hots for him, and, so it didn't go quite the way they wanted, but still, it's like, they're trying to cancel, dead guys now. They literally are. When Stan Lee passed, right, there was some crazy woman claiming to be like his nurse or something that like claimed that he was like playing grab ass with her when he was under her care or something, and trying to Me Too him. And then it claimed that it turned out that like she was like dosing him or giving him like the wrong amount of meds or something, and his daughter basically had to like fly her and get a new nurse and was threatening to take to court or something crazy like that. But yeah, point being is when it comes to Hollywood, pretty much cancel culture has rotted the entertainment industry, ladies and gentlemen. It really has. And it's sad. It is. And that's why it is so hard to talk pop culture these days. Is everything is getting canceled. And it's not just Hollywood. We also have a story here from let me find this in the show notes. Okay. Okay, so this was another story that got publicity this week, folks. Headline from the New York Post, ladies and gentlemen. Coca-Cola slammed for diversity training that urged workers to be less white. Right? This is SJW, mentality invading corporate America. Okay. Coca-Cola employees were urged to be less white as part of the company's alleged diversity training, but the material was yanked offline following a viral whistleblower post. The Confronting Racism course in question was offered by LinkedIn Education and allegedly utilized by the soft drink titan. Quote, in the U.S. and other Western nations, white people are socialized to feel they are inherently superior because they are white, reads one of the slides. End quote. Allegedly from an internal whistleblower and posted on Twitter by YouTube commentator Caitlin Boryasenko. Another slide suggests try to be less white, with tips including be less oppressive, listen, believe, and break with white solidarity. Right, folks? I mean, can you believe this? This is what is popping up in the corporate world now. I'm telling you, it's getting bad out there, folks. Boryasenko, who describes herself as a supporter of banning critical race theory, said the screenshots were sent to her from an internal whistleblower from Coca-Cola, who told her that the course was required. Her tweet from Friday has garnered 18,000 retweets and more than 34,000 likes. On Monday, LinkedIn said it had pulled the controversial course, featuring interviews with sociologist Robin DiAngelo, the author of White Fragility, which, if you don't know her, ladies and gentlemen, let me save you 5 minutes. She basically wrote this book, basically saying that all basically all white people are racist, and there's nothing we can do to overcome our racism because we're so racist. And, white people are bad, the end. Now, the real kicker is here, folks, is for those of you watching on YouTube, this is literally her on screen. And for those of you listening on audio, well, let me just describe you for her. She is a white woman with like curly brown hair, in her mid-40s, and she is pasty white. I mean, she's as white as I am. And that's, that's pretty much her. The Confronting Racism course featuring Robin DiAngelo is no longer available in our course library at the request of the third-party content provider. We licensed the content from Nicole Liverich, Vice President of Corporate Communications. LinkedIn told Newsweek in an email. Blah, 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 blah. So basically, yeah, it goes on to basically say that, that basically this BLS white material was pulled, but only because the, someone blew the whistle on them. That's basically the long and short of this article here, folks. But yeah, BLS white, huh? That's not racist at all. Imagine if the shoes were flipped, right? If the script was flipped. If it were, BLS black or BLS Hispanic, then, and rightly so, there would be outrage. But we live in a world now, folks, where where like even if you're a good liberal, even if you're even if you're loyal to a company or to a school or to a cause, if you're not far left-wing enough, if you're not woke enough, you can be canceled. Also in the news this week, Dr. Seuss books are now being banned. Headline from the Washington Post, hurtful and wrong. 6 Dr. Seuss books to cease publications over claims of racist imagery. This is from the Washington Examiner. A handful of Dr. Seuss books will no longer be published after claims they contain hurtful and wrong illustrations. Dr. Seuss Enterprises, the company that preserves Theodore Seuss Ted Cecil's legacy, announced the decision to end the publication of 6 of his books Tuesday, which would have been his 117th birthday, which coincides with Read Across America Day. The books that will no longer be produced are And to think I saw on Mulberry Street, If I Ran the Zoo, Miguel's Pool, On Beyond Zebra, Scrambled Eggs Super, and The Cat's Whizzer. Seuss's birthday marks Dr. Seuss Day, a national celebration of the author's work for school children. We are committed to action. To that end, Dr. Seuss Enterprises, working with a panel of experts, quote unquote, including educators, reviewed our catalog of titles and made the decision last year to cease publication and licensing of those 6 books. A statement from the company read, these books portray people in ways that are hurtful and wrong, quote unquote. The company, which noted its mission of supporting all children and families with messages of hope, inspiration, inclusion, and friendship, said the ceasing of sales of these books is only part of our commitment and our broad plan to ensure Dr. Seuss Enterprises catalog represents and supports all communities and families. Okay, so great. So Dr. Seuss's own publishing house is now saying, you know what? This, these books, they're outdated, they're old-fashioned, they don't support modern sensibilities. Let's just ban them. Let's just stop publication of them. Now, yes, I know, it's their company, they can do what they want, but, again, this is stupid. This is self-censorship, ladies and gentlemen. And already, folks, I just saw another story before I started the show that apparently these books, now that they've been canceled, now people are selling them on eBay. They're becoming quite valuable. And let's see. The company's decision came in 2020 after it quote-unquote listened and took feedback from our audiences, including teachers, academics, and specialists in the field as part of our review process. Well, that explains that then, because all of these academics and, teachers unions and, academic strategists, they're all SJW leftists now, folks, so does it really surprise you? Oh, good God. We then worked with a panel of experts, including educators, to review our catalog of titles, the company told the Associated Asian Process. So they said they were working with teachers twice in that paragraph. Seuss, even after his death in 1991, had been one of the most popular children's authors, taking in an estimated $33 million in 2020 before taxes. Previously, the author received praise for undertones of tolerance and environmentalism, but there had been increasing scrutiny over depictions of Black and Asian individuals, as well as other minorities in recent years. Oh, so I get it. Dr. Seuss was basically like Joe Biden, right? Kind of a closeted racist himself, right? Good old Joe, Mitt Romney wanting to put y'all back in chains. But, yeah, I mean, again, folks, another example of someone who's a liberal himself, but yet because he wasn't woke, he too must now be canceled. Or at least, part of his work must be canceled. And that's not opening a slippery slope at all, folks, is it? No. Not at all. Not whatsoever. It's fine. It's fine. Ugh. So yeah, folks, that's the state of culture, of pop culture, as right now. Isn't it great? Isn't it wonderful? Whoops, went to the starting screen there for a sec. Ooh. Yeah, this social justice stuff, folks, it really is infecting our culture more so than ever. I mean, heck, I'm getting the good news is, folks, if you want to be honest, I suppose there are two ways of looking at this. The bad news is that for things like Star Wars and Marvel and, you know, Coke and, you know, basically with everything going woke, you know, the bad news is it's annoying and everything's getting politicized, everything's getting, you know, hyper politicized and, you know, made into an issue, made into a controversy, when it really shouldn't be. Coke shouldn't be publicized, you know, politicized like this. Dr. Seuss shouldn't be politicized like this. Star Wars should actually, you know, treat its long-term fans with respect instead of, you know, inferring that they're a toxic male audience and, you know, inferring that some of their actors are closeted, you know, Nazis, right, and canceling them. You know, so the cancel culture is bad, folks. We understand that. But the good news is that, you know, I have to tell you, every time something like this happens, like, I'll give you a perfect example. I've got to be honest, folks, and don't misunderstand me. This is one thing I do want to clarify real quick. When it comes to things like Star Wars and Marvel Comics, I still love Disney. I mean, I still love Star Wars when it was owned by Lucasfilm. I always said I liked Disney Star Wars film, but I don't. You know, I'm still a fan of Marvel Comics, too. I'm not a fan of what Disney has done to Star Wars and what they're doing to Marvel right now, because they're starting to go a bit SJW as well. But Star Wars was a huge part of my childhood. I've been a Star Wars fan for 20 years now, probably. 21 years of my 26 years. Really. It's been a huge part of my life growing up. Same thing with Marvel Comics. I've been a fan of Marvel Comics, and I've been collecting comic books since I was like 6, 7 years old. My dad used to take me to the comic shop. I love comic books, ladies and gentlemen. And I love nerd culture. It has been my thing. And, you know, in a sense, it always will be. But as far as, like, supporting the new stuff that's coming out, as far as, you know, supporting all of that, a lot of it is too woke for me. I'm sorry, but it is. It's no longer fun to read comics or to watch movies when everything is preaching a message to you. Now, I get the idea of storytelling is to explore different ideas. I get that the idea of storytelling can be to, you know, share a topic or a point of view in an interesting way. But there's a difference between storytelling and presenting an idea that may, you know, be somewhat controversial. And then there's slamming an idea down your throat and, you know, continuously you know, belittling your fans. There's a difference between, you know, showing the evolution of a character, like Luke Skywalker, and showing him age, and then there's throwing him under the bus and saying, oh, you know that guy Luke Skywalker that you thought was a hero? Yeah, it turns out he never was, and everything that has led up to this point is pointless. It didn't mean anything whatsoever. George Lucas's whole entire Star Wars saga doesn't mean a thing in Disney's eyes. That's what they told the fans when you know, they let Rian Johnson fuck up Luke Skywalker in The Last Jedi. That's what they told the fans, and Dave Filoni tried his best to you know, make things right with the fans and Luke Skywalker with The Mandalorian. But you know, with Gina Carano being fired by Kathleen Kennedy, I'm not sure that's possible now. I think you know, I think Star Wars is done, sadly, in the minds of many fans, and that's just the sad reality. All right, folks. So I don't want to keep you too long here, but I do want to play for you guys this clip of Dennis Miller talking about free speech and cancel culture, because it really is relevant. And I've played this clip for many years on the show here, but it still is relevant, and it gets increasingly relevant as the years go by. Now, for those of you who are new to the program, I've played this clip a couple times before, but Dennis Miller, when he had his own HBO show, he did a rant on free speech from 2002. So this clip is roughly 18 years old, and in this clip from Dennis Miller's old HBO show, he talks about freedom of speech and you know, the dangers of censorship and whatnot. And this is back in 2002, before cancel culture really existed or was even a thing. It was, you know, I don't want to say he saw it coming, but in a way he did. So, clip number 2, and then we'll end the show. So anyway, here is Dennis Miller's rant on free speech from Dennis Miller Live in 2002. Clip 2. Go.
It's an interesting conundrum. What do you get for the guy who kills everybody? And a judge has appointed a psychiatrist to perform an evaluation of suspected terrorist Zacarias Moussaoui to determine if he is competent to waive counsel. Hey, Doc, just a tip. If he thinks we're all out to get him and want him dead at any cost, he's not paranoid, just perceptive. You know, maybe we ought to wiretap the voices in Moussaoui's head. You know, there are times I'd love to shut this guy up, but I guess he deserves his right to speak. I might not agree with it, but I'll defend to your death your right to say it, Moussaoui. Now, I don't want to get off on a rant here, but after September 11th, freedom of speech in America has become a topic that's touchier than a Vatican summer camp. You know, our founding... Our founding fathers were supreme champions of freedom of speech, but we should never forget that Alexander Hamilton was shot over something he said. Because in their infinite wisdom, our founding fathers also gave us the Second Amendment, the right to bear arms, which is a reminder that while we can pretty much say and do whatever we want, you better watch it, asshole. The free speechers always argue the slippery slope theory. If you muzzle free speech before you know it, we're living in 1984 and Big Brother is picking out our ties for us. Those seeking to control free speech, on the other hand, argue that if we allow Johnny Soulpatch to burn the flag, before you know it, we're living in the Lord of the Flies and Piggy is fighting for his life. But there is a middle ground between government rule and mob rule, a place where only those who can make obscure references to literature, art, and pop culture on their weekly cable show will be allowed to speak freely. A utopia, if you will. You know, our enemies see our diversity of opinion as evidence that we are weak and divided, but as the very presence of a vibrant marketplace of ideas that ensures our continued survival. That, of course, and the high-tech weapons that can lock in on the glint off a scimitar from 5,000 miles away. As much as I believe that our leaders have followed exactly the right course in wiping out the Taliban assholes who gave safe haven to the murderers of my fellow citizens, I recognize that the dissenters to the war and the verbal defenders of our enemies fulfill a vital function in our democracy. Specifically, they give me somebody to hate whose name I can actually pronounce. As much as we don't like to admit it, you got to say the freedom to bash the U.S. government is a unique and beautiful phenomenon when done with a certain degree of panache. I've noticed that in the Middle East, when they burn the American flag, they aren't even using real flags. They're just using flags painted on the sheets. And this really pisses me off because there are hard-working kids in Taiwan who make our flags who can use every penny they get. As a matter of fact, at this point, the only thing that galls me about someone burning the American flag is how unoriginal it is. I mean, if you're going to pull the freedom of speech card, don't be a hack. Come up with something interesting. Fashion old glory into a wisecracking hand puppet and blister the system with a scathing ventriloquist actor. Or better yet, drape the flag over your head and desecrate it with a large caliber bullet hole, okay? Once,
Whoa.
Thank you for almost sauntering down the Jingo Road with me. Once hotbeds of free speech college campuses across the country have engaged in an arms race to see who can craft the most restrictive speech code. Years of political correctness, binge drinking, and dropping Bing cherries out of your ass into a shot glass have bred a backlash now where anyone who dares to stray outside the conventional school of wisdom in college is ostracized, slapped with the mark of Cain, and worst of all, made to forfeit their student activity fee discount to see Dave Matthews Jam, and more importantly, Inspire during spring fling on the quad. You know, whatever happened to the notion that college was a place where the best minds in the nation vigorously debated all sides of an issue while the rest of us went back to the dorm and tried to get laid? Usually by ourselves. You know, I have no problem. I have no problem with people who respond to what they don't agree with. I enjoy the drama of a toppled podium and the sound of microphone feedback as much as the next guy. What I do have a problem with are the people who fail to see the glaring hypocrisy of screaming the word "shut up" into a bullhorn. Why should even the most repugnant ideas receive the same freedom of expression as more accepted ones? Because the American system is less a free marketplace of ideas than it is a playground of free ideas. And the best way to dispense with the unpopular ideas is to let them roam free on the playground so they can have their asses kicked up and down the jungle gym by the cool ideas. You know, the ability to be critical of our government is what makes this country great. Thanks to these freedoms, we get the hip irreverence of Art Buchwald, the folksy politically incisive song stylings of Mark Russell, and the fantastic parodies of the group The Capitol Steps. And it's for these reasons alone we must squash free speech immediately and become a police state. You know, we need to let those who repulse us have their say alongside those whose speeches make us rise to our feet in applause. How else will the shiny pearl of wisdom stick out against the black velvet of stupidity? It's better to just let the Ku Klux Klan march through your town than it is to waste your time and money trying to stop them. Instead of challenging their right to free speech, use your energy to point out to your children the irony of the fat guys in the pointy hats and the pea-stained bed sheets spouting forth all sorts of monosyllabic eugenic claptrap, and all the while claiming to be the master race. Of course, that's just my opinion. I could be wrong.
Now, that was back from 2002, ladies and gentlemen, before cancel culture was even a thing, really. But I think it's just as relevant now, hell, even more relevant now in 2021 than it was in 2002. That clip is almost 20 years old. And I play that clip often because, really about every 6 months or so, because I think it really does sum up the free speech issue to a T. Sure, there might be ideas that we find repugnant. People may say things that we disagree with. Hell, people say things I disagree with all the time. But everyone should still have their right to free speech as long as they're not directly threatening someone, or doxing them, or intentionally trying to cause harm. Obviously, there are exceptions to the rule, but by and large, free speech, it's not that hard. If you agree with something, good. If you disagree with it, don't get huffy and, try and take someone down. Either, disagree with them, or, if it's too much for you, just leave. Just leave. And, why is it so hard? Why do these, why do these Twitter people feel the need to cancel everyone they disagree with? Are their lives really that miserable? Are their lives really that miserable and unfulfilled that they can't, stand to hear ideas that they don't agree with? Well, judging from the way things have been going the last few years, I'd say the answer is, unfortunately, yes. So, yeah, that's that, folks. And I want to thank you guys so very much for tuning into the program. Thank you very much for watching and or listening, wherever you are in the past, present, future hour. And I also want to announce real quick that for those of you watching this on Friday, the Gamma Hug Box will be back on Friday night. So if you're watching this on Friday, that will be tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern, live on this channel, youtube.com/The Whitfield Report. E Scorpio, Apex Gamma, and I will all be back to comment more on some of the internet drama and internet shenanigans of Owen Benjamin and some of these other internet lolcows. We've been on hiatus for about 4 months or so. We just needed a break from all of the drama. We'll be back, and I believe David Crocco will be joining us as well. So that will be on the channel on Friday night at 10 p.m. Eastern, and as always, available on podcast format the next day in the Whitfield Report feed as well. All right, folks, from all of us here at NGC Studio, thank you for watching and or listening. Have a great day or evening wherever you are in the past, present, future hour. God bless, God save this great nation, God, freedom, legacy in that order. Mega dittos to you all. Rest in peace. Rush Limbaugh, and I'll see you on the next program.